Hey, welcome back. So today I've got another DIY project for guitarists. Right here is a 3D printed volume pedal from a design that I found on Thingiverse, but I modified mine to include an active boost circuit, both with a gain knob and a minimum volume knob. And today I'll be showing how I did it. The PCB for the boost circuit is actually a design I made myself, and I'm selling the PCBs for them as well. But I'll come back to this later. Let's first start the video by going over why you would want to add an active boost circuit to a volume pedal, and then also give some sound demos before we get into the build. Now if you go to Google and search for volume pedal, the majority of the results, and especially the more affordable options, are all passive. This means they can only cut the volume, not boost it. They don't contain a circuit, all they have is a single potentiometer. Of course, this can still be useful, but having the option to boost the signal before it reaches the pot makes it an even more versatile tool. The cheapest active volume pedal I could find is the Ernie Ball MVP, which to be honest is still a lot of money at $170, which is why I built my own. Its features are a bit basic compared to some of the more expensive ones, but I think it's plenty. So this is what I modeled mine after, at least when it comes to functionality. Unlike the MVP, I had to place the knobs on the side since there's more room there. So physically it's different, but it works more or less the same. The only thing mine doesn't have is an additional output for a tuner, which I could have added, but I didn't need it. So now let's do a live demo to show how it works. I'll be doing the demo on this Monoprice 15-watt combo amp. And the reason why I'm using this one is because it has an effects loop, which I'll be putting the volume pedal in the loop afterwards, but right now it's connected in front. So the pedal's gain and minimum volume are currently all the way down. So it's going to react like a passive pedal like this. So let's go ahead and hear how it sounds, and I'll kind of play with the rocker so you can hear it. And see, now it's muted. Okay, so it reacts, how I said, like a passive volume pedal. But now I'm going to turn up the gain to a little bit past noon. And what this is going to do is, it's basically going to act like a boost. It'll give me higher output and a more distorted tone. So this is how it sounds now. You see it's super high gain, and then if I roll back the volume, I can reduce the gain. And then, of course, I can mute it. But this gives me a lot more range of tones, from super distorted to, cleaner. And one of the advantages of using a volume pedal rather than the volume knob on your guitar is that when you use the guitar's volume knob, it reduces the highs or the treble. Unless you have a treble bleed circuit, but most guitars don't have that. But if you reduce the volume using a volume pedal, then you don't lose those highs. The EQ remains untouched. So I think that's one of the biggest uses for a volume pedal, but there's more than that as well. But now I'm going to turn up the minimum volume knob to a little over noon. And you'll see now, so when the pedal is all the way up, I still get that same high gain tone. But now watch what happens when I reduce the pedal all the way down. It's all the way down now, but I'm still getting sound. So what this allows you to do is to instantly switch from one gain level to another gain level. So let me turn up the minimum volume even more. So now, watch what happens when I reduce the volume all the way. So it's all the way up now. So you can hear there's, it cleans up a little bit, not a whole lot. you could clean it up more if I turn down the minimum level, but the point is that you can set the minimum level to anything you want and then instantly just switch from one volume level to another instead of trying to find, try to go in the middle somewhere and try to find that exact spot you want. Well, setting the minimum volume will take care of that. Alright, so I just paused the video so I could connect the volume pedal to the amp's effects loop. So now I have the guitar plugged straight into the front of the amp, and now we're going to see how to, well, one way you could use the volume pedal in the effects loop. Now, the way I'm about to use it is basically like this. I'm going to max out the guitar's volume, and that will give like a lead tone. But then I'm going to roll back the guitar's volume to kind of clean up the sound and give more of a clean sound. But the problem with that is sometimes you lose a lot of volume. So that's what the volume pedal is for, is I could easily just push it back up to regain that lost volume. Alright, so here's with the guitar's volume all the way up. And now I'm going to clean it up by turning down the volume. But I lost a lot of volume, so now I can instantly get that back by pushing down the volume pedal. So this is useful. I mean, of course you could use overdrive pedals to switch from, high gain to clean, but this is another valid way as well. If you want to get all your gain from the amp and you want to clean it a bit, well, this is one potential solution. So now let's move on to the build guide, and I'll give some tips that I learned after building my own. So here's the design I found on Thingiverse, which I've linked in the video description. This is actually a remix of an earlier design from a creator called Robot Hut, who also made a video showing how to put it together, so I suggest watching that as well. Keep in mind some of the pieces are too large for an Ender 3 and printers that are the same size as that. In fact, they're just barely too big to fit, so you'll need to use a larger printer. Fortunately, I have an Ender 5 Plus, which is more than big enough. I actually installed a larger nozzle on this for faster prints, but I didn't have the settings perfectly tuned for PETG when I did this print. So you'll notice some of the layers were slightly shifted on mine, but that's fine. If you don't have a 3D printer, then an alternative would be to purchase a used passive volume pedal for relatively cheap, then mod it to include the boost circuit like I'll be showing today. Of course, you'll need to drill some holes in the enclosure if you decide to go that route. And even if you do have a 3D printer, you still might want to consider buying a used pedal made out of metal because it'll be sturdier and it'll provide better shielding against noise, which I'll talk more about later. But if you're just planning to use it at home like I am, then 3D printing should provide more than enough strength. Now the newer design from 3D Chris, which is the design that I went with, is thicker and stronger and uses screws to secure all the pieces together, and also provides a few different textured foot pads. For all the other parts, I recommend using a strong material such as PLA Plus or PETG, which is what I use. But for the foot pad, I use TPU since it provides a more rubbery consistency. But if I were to do it again, I'd probably go with TPE for the foot pad, which is actually more rubbery than TPU. I'll also include a link to these little feet, which I also printed in TPU. However, even though this newer design is stronger and better, as this comment pointed out, the screw holes for the top cover are slightly off center, which results in the top piece slightly hanging off the side, as you can see here. It's not a big deal though. Now, like I said, you'll also need screws. The best screws for this are the same ones that are used for Fender-style pickguards. You can search for Strat pickguard screws on eBay or Amazon to find them. I'll leave Amazon links in the description for this and all the other parts you'll need for this build. The only thing you won't be able to find on Amazon is a 1/4 inch by 3 inch circular metal rod. So you might need to look around for this, but you should be able to find one at Lowe's or Home Depot. Now here's a list of the rest of the parts you'll need. So let's go through each one. First is copper tape, which is used for shielding the circuit against noise. Make sure you cover as much of the cavity as you can, and put some on the bottom cover as well. Now copper tape will provide shielding, but you might want to consider adding a second layer for even more shielding, because like I said, this won't provide as much shielding as a case made out of metal, but it should provide enough. Also, before applying the copper tape, you'll want to drill holes on the side of the body for the additional pots, the DC power jack, and an LED, which is optional. Also, make sure the holes for the input and the output jack are big enough. I ended up needing to drill these bigger in order to fit the jacks. And finally, the last thing you'll need is a clean boost circuit. If you're new to DIY guitar pedals, then you should check out my 3-part series showing everything you need to know to build your own pedals, including the circuit. I used my own custom PCB, which was designed to provide the purest clean boost possible without any compromises. And in fact, if you live in the US, you can purchase these, along with an original overdrive and fuzz PCB that I'm also selling. So check those out if you're interested. The Clean Boost PCB was originally designed for a basic boost pedal with a stomp switch, not a volume pedal, but it's really easy to adapt it for a volume pedal, as you can see in this schematic here. All you need to do is add 2 additional pots to the output of the circuit. This pot is the one that will be attached to the foot pedal itself. And again, for more details on the build and how to put it together, and how to insert the gear to the pot, be sure to watch the original video from Robot Hut. Now the second pot here is the minimum volume knob. The value for these pots should both be the same and should be audio taper, or in other words, logarithmic. I suggest using A100K pots here, but lower values such as A50K will also work fine. As for the gain pot's value, that'll depend on how much you want the maximum gain to be, which I explained in the Clean Boost build documentation. But generally speaking, I think most people will be fine with the standard plus 20 dB of gain, which is plenty, and that's what I went with on mine. The other thing I should point out is the LED wiring. Since this pedal doesn't have a foot switch to turn it on or off, the LED is always on for this build. So if your current limiting resistor is soldered on the board, you'll want to solder the positive lead wire here and then ground the other wire. And that's pretty much it. If you've built a guitar pedal before, then this should be a really simple build. But like I said, if you're new to pedal building, then definitely watch my 3-part series on that before attempting this build. So that wraps up today's video. If you have any thoughts or questions, then feel free to drop a comment. And if you found the video to be useful, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I can see you every night. Oh, I can see you every night. Free.